Welcome to the Circle of Geekdom Vidcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Sean.
Let's talk about some geeky shit. 2 weeks
Let's
in a
do it.
row of doing this.
I
We're
know.
being consistent.
That means we're due for 4 months off again.
I think so. I think that's how it's gonna play out. We're gonna say we're gonna take a week off here just so we can go on vacation or something, and then we just don't come back until 2035.
Yeah, I got to go to the Poconos, and the next thing I know, it's our kids reviving the podcast.
Right. What do you mean,
You know,
our
my,
kids, your kid?
my kid. Well,
Yeah, and
you'll
their
have like
friend.
a
Yeah,
robot.
yeah.
You'll have
This
like a
ain't
robot
happening.
kid.
Yeah.
We'll
Would you
just
want a robot kid? If that became an option, if there's a store that says hey, do you want a kid but don't want to deal with literal shit?
no.
Robot
I
kid.
watched AI. That movie was terrible.
Yeah. It was fine
No,
until the end when the alien thing happened.
no,
It's was it
no,
fine?
no.
No, it wasn't
I
fine.
don't think so. I think as much as as much as when you list out who's involved in that movie, like the premise of that movie and who's involved in it, that should be like one of my favorite movies of all time
Yeah.
because it's like AI and it's Kubrick and it's Spielberg. So
Mhm.
you know, I should be all about that, but I just found it to be incredibly lackluster.
Oh yeah. Was Kubrick
Um,
involved with that movie?
the original, yeah, the original movie and everything. Most of the stuff in the first half of it, that's all Kubrick, and then like the second half and bits and pieces here and there from other parts are Spielberg. So Kubrick
Ah.
died, and then Spielberg finished the movie.
I did not know that. I just thought that was a Spielberg film, from start to finish.
Yeah, it is a Spielberg film, but a lot of some of the setup and story and things like that, a lot of that stuff is Kubrick.
Oh.
So I'm really curious which one of them was responsible for the aliens because
I'd imagine that's to me that's a Spielberg thing too. Spielberg is absolutely the alien guy.
yeah, he's like, oh, you want some aliens in there?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
hey, we heard your movie didn't have aliens. Like
Like,
that's his.
let me fix that for you real quick. And the crazy part though too is that when Indiana Jones 4 came out, I picked it up on Blu-ray and I saw the behind the scenes, the making of stuff, and Spielberg was talking about kind of the creation of the film and was saying there's a reason why the Last Crusade they're riding off into the sunset. It's because
Mhm.
I'm done with the films. And George, my buddy, Lucas, kept bringing up over and over again, he wants to make another indie film, and it's well, if the script is right, I'll do it. And
Yeah.
then that's when they start coming up with the idea of Indiana Jones and the Saucerman from Mars kind of storyline. They were really wanting to do a big alien thing, and yeah,
Ah.
and Spielberg was I don't want to really do this because originally it was designed to come out in the early '90s when Independence Day had come out,
Yeah.
and this is and
That's the right time frame for it.
yeah, it's just look, that movie just came out. I don't want to do another alien film, and quite frankly, I don't want to be the alien guy. And Lucas is all right, whatever, whatever. And then one day I get a phone call and it's George Lucas, and he says they're not aliens this time. And he's all right, George, what is it? It's they're interdimensional beings.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
going well, what's that, George? And he goes well, they're aliens. And then you see me go all right, fine. And that's how that fucking movie was made. It was just made off of Spielberg just kind of going "Will you please shut the fuck up? I don't want to do this." And then he just kind of gets berated into it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's just because I love Indiana Jones
I do
like
too.
the mostest,
Yeah.
and so I don't hate that movie,
Oh.
but I think there was a lot of stuff in there. It was one of the hallmarks of Indiana Jones is how like cheesy a lot of it is,
Mm.
and so but it felt natural in the first three movies. In that
Yeah.
movie, it felt forced, and that was where it was like ah.
Yeah.
And again, it suffered from CGI exists now
Yeah.
because CGI you know it's bad when it looks shitty when it comes out. Like Episode Two's CGI for Star Wars, that one scene with him on the back of that giant cow tick, whatever the fuck that stupid ass thing is, where he gets
Yeah.
on top of it and falls off and fakes injury so they can do it in the grass. Like, hey, come on, Lion King did it first, obviously.
Right.
Um, and it looks so bad, and it looked bad then. So if you watch it now, it looks really bad,
Oh yeah.
and that's how part of the Indiana Jones stuff was. Is it looked bad already?
Yeah, with the gophers, the and then the whole nuking the fridge thing, and then Shia LaBeouf being Tarzan, and
I
the
think
ants.
I think Shia LaBeouf's part was actually one of the better parts of the movie because like you had this theoretical like progression you could go down,
Mhm.
and I loved the fact that like his nickname was Mutt.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be Indy's son, and the fact that they brought back Marion, to me,
yeah,
Marion is the greatest female heroine in any movie ever. She's like the best like female side character, so she's great. I absolutely adore her, and
yeah,
seeing her when she was older was super cool. I was like, oh, they brought back the original actors for Marion Ravenwood. What?
yeah. I did like that part. Like they introduced her, and the fact that like Indy is named after a dog, Mutt is a dog. So I mean, there's like hints to that.
And the hat at the end, where he's like, hey, that's not yours yet.
Yeah, um, but it was just there's so many like weird like just like lack of logic. Like, why would you do something like this kind of moments throughout the whole film? Um,
Yes, and that's the
and
biggest thing.
yeah, it just there was just so many just bad things. Like, why? Like, there's points where he's helping out the Russians throughout the film. And you're like, why are you doing that? Why are you giving them exact correct information? Why aren't you lying to them to distract them or something? No, you just
Yeah.
like he's not above
To
doing that. He did that in Last Crusade. So
to me,
yeah,
the thing that I don't think, I guess maybe people think it's sacrilege or whatever. They didn't need to make a new Indiana Jones or update it to get the franchise going because the thing is the best new Indiana Jones franchise already existed for like a decade, and it was all the Mummy movies.
yeah.
Those, for the most part, were pretty fantastic.
One and two were really, really good. Three, well, two had aside from like the bad CGI of the Rock as the Scorpion
Yeah,
King, that
yes,
was
the Scorpion King
awful.
stuff. But the
But the rest
Scorpion
was
King standalone movie wasn't too bad actually.
no, it wasn't. The third one, what was it? The one with Jet Li in it wasn't terrible. It was just the casting changes were just so off-putting.
Yeah, yeah. But overall, like those are pretty cool.
Yeah,
I liked them. I like any of that kind of stuff. I
yeah,
wonder if
like
that'll make a comeback. I think they're supposed to be making one of the Uncharted. I think they're supposed to be making that into a movie.
they are, and they've been working on that for a long time. And I think the last thing I heard was that they've gone through now like 8 directors. Like the latest one who was signed on to work on it just dropped out.
Well, I
So
remember when
yeah,
they first started talking about it. This is how long they've been trying to make these movies. Is when they were first talking about it. I remember Nathan Fillion was being heavily floated as like gonna be Drake, and it's like, yeah, maybe like 15 years
let's
ago when
go.
the first one came out on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, like Fillion's an old man. Like
Yeah,
he'd be like Drake's dad in the series.
right. He's the like the new Sully now. Which actually, how old
Which
is
I
Nathan Fillion?
I would have to say that would be the movie that I'm most excited about watching from a game that I've never played the game.
Real.
No, after PlayStation 2, I've never owned a Sony system again. The
Oh.
only times I've ever flirted with it were actually specifically the Drake's games.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really thought about should I get a PS4 on the cheap at some point just to play what was that crazy futuristic but in the past almost kind of like Viking game.
Viking game.
The girl looks like a Viking character.
Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn.
That
Yeah.
I don't know what that game was, but it was like I saw this her fighting like a mecha dinosaur, and it was this ginger Viking-looking girl as the main character, and I was like, "That's the shit."
Yeah. You may not actually have to wait all that much longer because if I'm thinking the right game here, uh, Horizon Zero Dawn is supposed to be coming out on PC.
Well, there you go. I'll just get on PC. That game
Yeah.
looked the shit, dude.
Yep.
I remember as soon as I saw that, and like Danielle was pregnant, and I was like, "That's perfect."
Yep.
And then it even worked out even better that we ended up actually having a ginger.
No.
As soon as I found out we were having a girl, I hoped and hoped and hoped. All I wanted was for a ginger, and I got a little ginger.
Aw,
Yeah, my little copper top.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, because apparently also they're working on a Horizon 2.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I remember apparently some folks are getting kind of upset with Horizon coming out on PC because it's like you're taking away the exclusivity rights, or not the rights, but you're taking away what makes the PlayStation unique, which was like it's the console exclusives, and now but it's like that game's been out now for like 2 years. Like we can kind of pump the brakes on that shit.
I think console exclusives are bullshit when you
Hmm.
put them on a PC.
Yeah.
I don't think that matters because the thing is someone who owns a PC probably also owns a console for specific reasons.
Yeah.
Like I own an Xbox. I will never not own an Xbox at this point, just because I will always have that console. Maybe I'll get back into Nintendos, maybe when my daughter's older, but I just can't get into Nintendos right now.
Oh, the Switch is so
Ever.
good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This I saw that mobile Switch that they have that has like the flip up thing or whatever. That was kind of neat. But yeah,
The flip up. Oh, you're talking about the DS?
no, isn't there like some? Oh no, there's like it's all in one. Like it doesn't come apart or something.
Oh
There's like a
yeah.
Switch that's like one thing.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a
it's
Switch tablet.
right. So that it's basically just the a regular Switch, just that without the Joy Cons being able to be removed, and it's a little bit smaller too, and cheap and $100 cheaper.
That one.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see PC as being this competitive market with the consoles in terms of exclusivity
That's true.
because the thing is it's easy.
Hmm.
PC is easy to get because it's already there. You don't have to do anything special if you have a PC game, if you have a PS4 game and a PC game, because they were all made on a PC.
Yeah.
Every single game is made on a PC and then put into the developers kits for the PS4s and stuff like that. That'll do like the actual like coding transfer crap that would need to be done. But the sprites, everything, every single game is made on a PC and then put in to a specific type of computer, which is the consoles.
Yeah.
You know, the actual specs. I mean, they're basically just gaming PCs, just small form factors with dedicated, a singular dedicated OS is what they're for. That's all they are.
Mhm.
It's like the Steam console they wanted to make a while back.
Yeah. At that
It's
point, it's just
literally that.
a computer. Yeah. The greatest part, like, have you seen the pictures of like the new Xbox console?
It looks just like a black obelisk.
Yeah.
I
And
like it. It literally looks exactly like my old wireless modem, like it, except mine's small, but it was like yay tall
mhm.
and like this wide. Like that was like my old like Time Warner um, wireless thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. I mean, it's fine with me. It's everything on it's wireless, so it's just gonna hide in somewhere anyway. So it doesn't matter what it looks
Yeah.
like to me.
Yeah.
Anything's but the original X. Do you remember that one
Oh
from
my
the pre?
God.
It's like the actual big ass X.
Yep.
The controller was like the size of like it looked like a fucking like you're holding
Yeah.
trying to like strangle half a watermelon.
I still remember like when those Xboxes first came out, working at GameStop, or I think it was still EB Games at the time, and
It
just
was.
you just see just like we've come a long way to just this.
I
But
remember selling lots and lots of micro cons to families with kids
yeah,
because I was like, well, the controller's this big, and I'm
yeah,
like, here you go, little kid, and the kid's like holding it, and he's like trying to like hold on to it.
yep. You just gotta like just see them just trying to like reach their thumb over. Yeah,
Yeah, like how am I supposed to play Sonic Heroes on this?
it's like first off, don't, and second off, uh,
Like
yeah,
you don't know
poorly.
Sonic. Get out of here,
Yeah.
kid.
Actually, speaking of that, I ended up, before recording this, I was playing Freedom Planet on Steam, which is basically it's an indie Sonic game, like knockoff,
Mm.
but it's not at the same time. Like definitely has like that feel to it where it's running fast, it's doing loop to loops. There's like little jumping boost platform things. Like all the elements are enough where you say like it's a Sonic ripoff, but it has a shockingly extensive storyline to it. Like there's like a good like 10-minute cutscenes between levels. And it's all done with
Oh
like
wow.
60-bit sprite style too, so it's all real colorful, fully voice
Ah, that's
acted
cool.
too, and like there's actual like combat. Like you don't just jump on enemies' heads. You actually have an attack button and like a controllable dash button too. And the music's really solid too. Like the characters actually have like unique personalities to it as well. Like there's a lot to like about Freedom Planet.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like Freedom Planet 2, apparently somebody told me on Steam on my stream, links to right there, that the sequel is actually due out. Yep, and there's all your links right there too. The sequel, like Freedom Planet 2, is actually due out this year as well, which is kind of exciting. Like,
That's super cool.
yeah, like
I've never heard of that.
it actually there's a company called It was called Indie Box, and they were. This is back when like Loot Crate and Nerd Block, and like
Mm.
three or four other different like subscription boxes were out there. And Indie Box was kind of cool because they would actually take indie titles, hence the name, and create physical collector's editions for them. So it'd have like an actual cardboard box. It'd have like a little trinket that was actually a USB drive with the game installed, and it was region unlocked too, so you can basically give that out to anybody. And it had a ton of collectibles in there too. So like it had the soundtrack and just all sorts of really neat shit. Um, and that was the first game that I ever got from it was getting Freedom Planet, and was really glad that I did because that was a lot of fun. And then IndieBox got rid of their subscription service because then people realized like, hey, these are really expensive, and we're kind of giving these away almost at cost, so this is not working anymore. But
Yeah, that's probably more of a get customers
yeah,
for other purposes.
true. But for while it lasted, I did get a couple of really good games out of it, and I kind of feel like I should be streaming more indie stuff other than just Final Fantasy. I mean, obviously Final Fantasy is going to be a big part of streaming. Look at all that. Just look at all that. So good.
I got nothing. I have a broken Pathfinder toy
Yeah.
that my daughter broke.
Really? Like,
Yeah, she was playing with him, and I think she dropped him or something, and his arm broke off. So he's got the thumbs up arm and then like a stump. So
I didn't realize they made Pathfinder, or they made Apex toys.
yeah, they made the first set of legends, the launch day legends are all in there, including Caustic and Mirage. They're all in there. I bought Yukon one and shipped it up to him through Amazon because he was telling me how he couldn't find anywhere over in the middle of fucking nowhere, Canada. And so I was like,
Huh.
I got you, bro. And so I just he sent me his address on over the phone, and I just sent him a Gibby because that's what he likes. But yeah, there's a Pathfinder. So
Huh.
I need to get a new Pathfinder, and then when I guess Series 2 of them comes out, will probably come out. I don't know. Maybe it'll come out in February or March after they release all the people for Season 4, so that way I can get a little Octane.
Nice. Yeah.
Octane's the best.
Are they like full size figures, or are we talking about like pops?
But the Funko Pops, they're like
Okay.
the
The little
yay
ones?
talls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, despite how nerdy I am, I actually only own two of them. Well, I've bought two of them. My daughter owns both of them at this point. She took my Corvo because she it's the funniest thing, and she'll take this dude to Target, or she used to sleep with him sometimes. It's the funniest thing when you see like a toddler walking around Target
Mhm.
showing everybody her Corvo, and she calls him Corvo. She's like, look, it's my Corvo. And he's got his creepy as hell Dishonored mask on and shit like that, and the sword out and stuff, and
Yeah.
she's like, that's her Corvo. And
Nice.
I'm like, best dad ever, I
Ever.
guess.
Because she knows who that is. That's awesome, though. Like we're at that generation where like the kids' toys are going to be like overall pretty solid, or like a lot more obscure kind of reference stuff for it too. And Funko Pop kind of does help with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna teach her all about the finer points of being a geek, and through toys apparently.
Yeah.
So we've already got lots of Legos in the house because the Legos, I have a big ass bucket of Legos, and they're actually my Legos from when I was a kid.
Mm.
So I have those, and then I have like my car Legos, which she loves all my racing car Legos. So she's all about it. Like I told her I needed to take them back to work, and she's like, "No, I want to play with them here." I
Oh.
was like, "Shit!" So now I got to buy like a set just for the house, so that way I can take mine back to work, which is cool because they make a little $30 set that has like a little red looking hot rod slash rally car
Mhm.
where the driver is actually a woman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they have female minifigures now for some of the drivers of the cars, like one of the Formula E ones, the electric ones, which are the new 8 wide series. So this is the Jaguar I-Pace SUV. So the driver, let me get her out. Let's see if I can how good the camera will pick her up. So
Oh yeah.
kind of you can see they give her like the hourglass kind of shape, and there's like even in the racing suit there's a little hint of boob curves because even if you're
Yep.
Lego, it's boobs exist. I don't people wig out about them. So she's got like a super like serious like racer face on and just a slighter shade of like lips,
Yeah.
and then she's got brown hair.
Look at that.
hmm
That's
Although
cool.
we all have our own custom Legos.
Really?
hmm I found this. There's this company in England, minifigures.me or minifig. Yeah, minifig.me, and you can order like individual pieces, or you can like custom build a minifigure basically. So that was a surprise Christmas present for everybody. That was our stocking stuffers this year. Was a minifig of all of us.
That's awesome. Ooh, excuse me.
So there's
That's
me with
awesome.
like a my person has like a black jacket and like gray pants
Mhm.
because on the weekends that's pretty much all I wear. And then they have like I have actual little accessories. So I have a cell phone, and then I have a coffee cup that says "World's Best Dad."
Aw.
And then Danielle's has a actually I think it's this hair, the brown hair. It has the hair, and then it has a purple or a green kind of sweater with a gray scarf on it, which she wears scarves, and then black pants because she always wears like black leggings or whatever. And then Adeline's has this little shoulder length kind of like ginger curl thing with fairy wings and like a little wand, and then a little box of Legos.
Nice.
And then Danielle's accessories are her iPad because she always has her iPad,
Mhm.
and then one coffee cup that says "World's Best Teacher," and then the other coffee cup says "World's Best Mum" because it's British, which is
Nice.
fine
Yeah,
because
because she's
she's
British.
British.
Yeah.
Yeah, which works. Which man, sometimes tan- tangent time for Sean.
Mm.
Those of you new to the podcast, this is the part of the podcast where Sean and his potential ADHD brain decides this is a perfectly good point to go on some random soliloquy that has nothing to do with anything.
You
So,
do you.
and Chris sits here and lets me go. I have never been to England, right?
Mm.
Never been to England, but almost like the post I wrote on my blog, which is down here, about South Africa. I am like the worst. I don't want to say the worst American. I think I might be one of the most British Americans, just in terms of like interest level. Like I've always known of England and like what it was, and I've always been fascinated with things like that. And like things that happen over there matter to me sometimes more than what happens over here. And I don't know if that's just because when I was a kid, like with Desert Storm, my mom got sent to England. I've always had, because being a military kid, we've always had friends from England. Most of the sports they have over there are ones that are more interesting to me. So, like rugby, soccer, motor sports, especially now, stuff like that. I'm like a terrible American, or I'm like a very British American. I don't know. I find over there way better than over here, which I'm sure somebody somewhere watching this is going to go, well, then fucking leave then.
Mm.
And my response to that is, well, great. Tell somebody over there to give me and my wife a full-time job, and I'll get out of your hair, America. I would move there in a
I was like,
heartbeat,
wait for it. No. Just wait for your phone to like buzz instantly.
right? Hey, all right.
It's like my right. You just like leave.
Yeah, pretty much. My students always used to ask me about that. They're like, if you could live in Europe, would you? And I said, I would leave in a heartbeat. And I'm like, they're like, wait, really? And I was like, yep. And they're like, so if somebody came and gave you and your wife a job over in like France, you'd leave? I was like, I would leave tomorrow. And they'd be like, well, what about all of us? I would leave all of you
You.
tomorrow. And they're like, don't you like us? And I'm like, it doesn't matter about liking you. I'd rather live there
There. Yeah.
than here. Is the point? It has nothing to do with you specifically. I think it's just for whatever reason. Ever since I was a kid, even though I've grown up in Texas and stuff, and like the hyper patriot area that everything here,
Mm.
I don't know. I've just always been more interested in other countries and other parts of the planet than here. My One of my favorite places that I've never been to that I was fascinated with as a kid. I loved Russia as a kid. Like my dad was really was interested in like czarist Russia and stuff like that, and I was endlessly fascinated by Russia as a kid.
Mm.
Like feudal Japan and China and stuff like that was just mind blowing to me. Once I got to like upper levels of school and you learn about like the really ancient civilizations and like like Mesopotamia, like that stuff was like what you know.
Yeah. See,
But
I was
yeah,
that kid in school who was like, let's get back to America because I know what that is.
yeah, no, I taught social studies. I always say social studies
Yeah. Why
because
do
people
they
are always like,
call
"Oh,
it
you taught."
that? Why do they call social studies not history until you're like in high school?
Because history is one aspect of social studies. When you're looking at a country, you can't just look at this is what they've done in the past, because then you're just looking at a timeline, like from here to there, like these are the things that happened. It doesn't give you context or background to really interpret or understand things. Social studies is the entire context of that. So you're looking at the whole, you're looking at all parts of it. You're looking at the like physical geography of like the actual like place that they're at. You can look at the human geography, so like their ethnic makeups, their socioeconomic makeups, their economic system, their governmental systems, how it's changed over time, stuff like that, and it gives you a much better understanding of things. So to give it a good to give a good example, one of my family members recently posted one of these stupid ass political memes that show up in um, viewers of the podcast will know that I would say it's safe to say that Chris and I are both more on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Chris way more on the left
Yeah.
over there. I'm more on the particular issue, more left versus more right, but mostly more to the left because I care about other people.
Mm.
Um, if you're on the right and you care about people, congratulations. I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
You're cool. You're
Yeah.
fine. But like they had something about like how like socialism doesn't work and here's why, and it was Venezuela, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
because there's a difference between socialism and like people always want to turn it towards socialism equals communism or something like that, or like stuff like that, where you end up with like oligarchies or like dictatorial government systems or some other form of unlimited government. Um, and that's not exactly the case. Like if you learn social studies, then you will realize that that's not entirely accurate. It's, you know, picking and choosing and drawing things, and being like, I want this, which um, unfortunately, for me, since history is a big topic, I can't get by with cherry picking historical events. Like I'm one of the people who, when it was announced that Disney Plus was going to keep all of their old cartoons available,
Mm.
even the racist ones, was like, good.
Yeah.
They should. Like, I don't think, th- I don't like. Trying to think of the not the PC way to say this, but I'm trying to think of the way to say this to where it comes out correctly. Like the instances where you have like the historical figure statues, and you and I have both lived in San Antonio, so Lee High School got changed to, an acronym now, which is kind of
Learning of excellence or
dinky.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't feel like we should honor necessarily like people that had a negative impact. Like I understand in the South, it's looked at differently. Like some of those people like Lee and stuff like that, they're looked at as heroes and stuff, and fine for certain people, agree to disagree on that one. They can feel that way, and I feel a different way. But I don't know that we necessarily, as a country, need to have those kind of things up in our public spaces. But
Right.
like some of the cartoons and stuff like that are things like we need to be able to look back and go, damn, yeah, we
Yeah.
fucked up
Yeah.
in
Peter Pan. Yeah. The whole, like,
oof, yeah, this bad. Like
yeah.
we did bad. Like
Like the
I
entire
I
ending of
have to,
Dumbo. Oh no.
I would just like to thank my parents for weirdly somehow, even though growing up in East Texas, I would like to thank them for at least doing the best they could with making sure my brother and I didn't end up the dumb racist hicks like some of the other people that I know from that region, because I never equated the singing crows and all the Disney stuff with black people, which is apparently what they were supposed to be. It was supposed to
Yeah.
be like the crows. Never got that. Honestly, you know what I thought every single time?
Mm.
I just they reminded me of a barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
That's
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 I didn't
that's what
realize
I got.
either. As a kid, I
And
was
I
the
was
same
like,
way.
oh,
Yeah.
phew. I was like, I don't know if that means like, does, do I get like a special woke card,
Yeah.
you know? But I think it's important to be able to look at things and keep things in blemishes and all. Germany's a good example of that.
Mm.
They less so recently because nationalism as a whole has started to pop up all over the place because of
Stuff.
I understand how I disagree with it, but I understand how it comes to pass where it starts getting popular again because you have people from other places and you're like, well, why are we helping them when we people need help? And that's a whole other can of worms. But
Yeah.
Germany's been a really great example of understanding your negative past, embracing that it happened, and enlightening your populace so that you don't go down that road again. Hopefully,
Right.
so, I think that's why I like one of the reasons I like South Africa so much. They had for 80 something years one of the worst racial segregation programs in apartheid, and for the fact that apartheid ended in like 94,
Mm.
I think that's the right year. They've come an extremely far way, like very, very far. I mean, slavery was made illegal in the 1800s, but you can definitely make the argument that if you are a non-white, non-male, your life is infinitely more difficult in many parts of the states. So uh, they've come a lot further than we have, I think. I feel like this went down a definitely political
Right.
slide. Let's
Hey,
maybe we should go
do
back
you
to video
remember we used to
games.
talk about like backgammon?
Hey man, he's
Video.
coming. He's coming. You know what? I'm gonna pitch him as a character for the card game that I've been obsessed with and repping a lot on Twitter. The Heroes of Levendale. I'm gonna pitch that to them as a character.
You should.
A backgammon.
Like,
What's
how is that
what's
coming
what's
along?
what is he? He's an actuary.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had those in medieval times. Oh, they had them.
That was in there. Yeah. Like this version will. But how is all that going
Uh,
along?
for me personally, it's been going along great. I did an unboxing thing. I don't know how to put things from Twitch onto YouTube, so I might have to have you help me with that. But I
Yeah.
did. Apparently, I was the first person to do an unboxing video for them.
Really?
Yeah, this thing I bought at PAX, I did that
Okay.
unboxing video. That was apparently the first one that anybody ever did.
Oh, I
So I
bet
was
they
happy
got pretty
about that.
excited.
And then I bought a set of 5 boosters
Mm-hmm.
just cause,
Yeah.
and I did an unboxing video for those. And mathematically, it works out to where now I actually technically have 3 decks.
Really?
So yeah, I've been playing just a ton of games. I haven't actually tuned any of the decks, because just to test as best I can with just the default power level of where they're at. So I've got like the Lady Sarah, which is essentially like a paladin type deck, and then the Nightmare deck, which is Death Knight, for lack of a better description from things that I have less experience with. Death Knight, I get. I've played like 5 MMOs where you can be a Death Knight. I understand what that is.
Yeah.
Um, that, and then the other one is actually literally just what I got in the booster packs,
Mm.
because you only 54 cards, 3 of each card is the max, so it works out really well in terms of like the math and stuff. But I've been having a blast with it. I between when we started the podcast and when my wife was putting our daughter down to sleep, I played 2 or 3 games against myself, which is who I play against. I've been going back and forth on Twitter with the guys who make the game, and like responding and stuff and posting stuff about it. Like the other day, I had this thing, and it was like, it was like, what was the tweet? It was like, no one, me. I bet I could write 2,000 words about Heroes of Levendale. Literally no one, me. Challenge accepted. And I did. I had like during my lunch break at work, I just jammed out really, really fast 2,000 words of like a review about the game, like what I liked. I put a space in there about what I don't like, but I always feel like I have to put like an asterisk for that,
Mm.
because I got so much shit for that when I was in college and was trying to like get the journalism program going at A&M San Antonio, because I would write something negative. People are like, "You're bad mouthing." I'm like, "I'm not bad mouthing. This is an issue that I see
Yeah.
that makes it an opportunity for the administration of the school to understand this is something that at least one student or one member of our family here has noticed.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should look into this." So that's the way I look at like criticisms and stuff. Because if I hated the game, then I'd be like, "Oh, this game is terrible," and then that would be it. But
Yeah.
I don't actually. I really really enjoy it. I've been having so much fun. I have been finding that a lot of times games against myself have now started going further and further and further because I understand more and more of the mechanics and the nuances. So
Mm.
playing against yourself is fun. You have to just ignore what you know about the other hand
Yeah.
and just play what's on the board.
You're right.
So it ends up making my games go a lot longer, but it's a blast. I'm excited. I know they're doing a lot with development. I think they've said, I can't remember if they said March or February, but I know they have 2 other characters coming out and I think that's their like second launch of characters, is the dragon character. I think Nerf is the dragon character, and then a wizard class, which is the main character's name is Gary, and then
Yeah.
there's going to be their next one, like their stretch one or whatever. I think April is a pirate for their bandit class, which is like the Robin Hood looking hat one. So,
Yeah.
which I'm looking forward to that. There's not a lot of cards for the bandit one. I think there's only like 3 or 4 that are specific for it, but it's a lot of fun. I'm super into it, and I've gone completely off the deep end. I made a Excel spreadsheet with my card collection, but it's also like a overall card database. Like it's all text, but it has like all the like attack, defense, actual text on all the cards.
Wow.
Yeah, I get bored and I make spreadsheets. That's what I do for fun because I'm weird.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like, how can
I'm
I?
super normal by comparison.
Yeah, I when I get to something that I want to understand better, I make a spreadsheet for it.
Yeah.
That's how I solve my own problems. Is I make a spreadsheet for it.
Yeah.
But I like it.
When you do play, though, how long does it take a game now between when you play against yourself?
It still varies a lot. Their thing was you can take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, and I would say my 5 minute games are fewer and further between. Um, for me, I would say it's like between 10 and 35 minutes for a game, but I'm usually spending a lot more time trying to like really think out what I'm doing, and to a certain extent, I mean they haven't asked me to do this or anything. This is just something that I wanted to do because the game is newer, and so there's like less cards and everything. So each card technically has a higher impact on the game as a whole. I'm trying to find ways of like breaking things. Like I'm sitting
Okay.
here and I'm just like, I'm taking like a shower and I'm all sitting there. Instead of singing in the shower, I'm over here going like, okay, it takes 10 damage to kill someone. You can only play one card a turn for the first turn. Then you can play. I'm like, how soon can I almost guarantee that I've gotten the 10 damage out? And like I did like the math on one thing and I put it up on their website on their tagged them in Twitter, and it was like, yeah, this is over. If you do it over 2 turns, you can do like 17 damage. If you do it over 4 turns, it's 23 damage, which
Yeah.
is it's if you can get those cards out, it's pretty much like seal the deal. There's very little that the opponent can do. They have to have like a specific like 1 or 2 cards to stop it. So,
Okay. And
but
how
yeah,
many cards are available, and do you have them all?
I have technically if you buy this little guy, the starter box, the nightmare one, this thing is $30. If you buy this, you actually have every single card in the game.
Okay.
So there are, I believe I have it correct, there are 61 unique cards, and you get at least one of every single one of them in here. You get a few doubles. So what I did is I bought this at PAX, so that gave me a booster pack, and then I bought 5 more. So then I had 6 booster packs. So um, a deck is 54 cards, so this box is 108, plus the other 60 I have was enough to give me 3 full decks
Right.
with, I think, 6 cards left over, which is fine because these are actually all just like extra cards, which I haven't showed them on the stream. The art style is super great, and it's very jokey. Like there's one, it's a pool noodle.
Yeah.
So the flavor text on it is surprisingly lethal, and it has like a grid base, like a tic tac toe
Hmm.
grid for where your cards go and things like that. It's I don't know. I have yet to get the missus to play a game. I'll probably wait till she gets back from doing a work thingamabob next week, maybe next weekend. Try and see if she wants to learn how to play, just because it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But I'd like it. I like it. I'd love to see it grow more. I spent some time the other day just like thinking of like how to do other stuff, like how to do it competitively, how to correctly market it to schools, since that's the field that I work in,
Mm.
and like things like that. But yeah, it's neat.
Sounds like, yeah. I
I like it. I'm excited. I am kind of enamored by it. It's super cool to me.
Yeah. Like I keep thinking about wanting to get back into a card game, like starting to pick up like Magic cards again, or that one, or even the Final Fantasy card game again. But I end up hemorrhaging so much money into that. The Final Fantasy one a little bit less so because they're a lot harder to get. But like Magic, every time I go to like the grocery store or go to Target, they're just right there every single
Uh,
time.
I already have gotten rid of like all of my like bulk commons and uncommons.
Mm.
I'm seriously considering getting rid of anything that's not from like 4 decks and just getting rid
Wow.
of all the rest of the magic cards. I anything that goes into my 2 lands decks and then my Merfolk deck. I think I'll keep those 3. But everything else I'll probably keep some like the versus decks just because they're already pre-built and ready to just go and just goof off with, but or the dual decks.
Mm.
But I think other than that, I'm probably going to just get rid of most of them
So you're done with Magic
in
for the most
paper
part.
format. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have the time to get out and do stuff, and I get super competitive with Magic, so I have Magic Online.
Yeah.
Like, I've got that. If I get like crazy, like I need, I've got that. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
buy
There you
this
go.
one. I was thinking about it. And I was technically, since every single card that exists right now is in here.
Mm.
They have their Battle for Saltshire is the title of it for like the full set of the first 4 characters. That'll have more cards, but if you bought 3 of these, you would literally have 3 of every single card in the game.
Yeah.
You would have a max set of the entire collection to build any deck you want of the existing cards. So, but $30 gets you 2 decks, so you're automatically got. You can play with yourself, or you can play with another person. It is technically multiplayer, so you could play with it up to however many people you want. You could do like battle royale if you wanted to.
Huh.
It's super fun.
Maybe that could be a
Super fun.
stream at some point then, where
I would
webcam
love to
it.
do that
Yeah.
because I've got. Let me see if I can get it. You know what? Here. Where's my technical difficulties thing?
Yeah.
Shit. This
I'm,
was like
this is
the
nothing.
best
I'm
like
doing absolutely nothing right now, but I'm pretending like this is like the technical difficulties thing. Oh, you got an arm.
for my phone.
Oh shit, son.
Yeah, so like the last video I did, like this thing, it latches under the bottom of the desk, and now I can anchor it, and I have my phone, and then my watch. Actually, I can control my phone from there, so I can tell it to record without having to fiddle with this, and it comes out a lot clearer and smoother with the phone.
Oh, okay.
So I would love to test that out because what I want to try and do is, um, they asked like, what's a combo you can think of, and I thought of one, and then they thought of a way to stop it, and so I was like, are you asking for a challenge? So I want to find a way to like figure out how to play the game that way because that would be super fun
Yeah.
and do some streaming with that. You would just put it as just chatting, but that's a great way to build up some stuff for the game.
Mm-hmm.
But this kind of allows me to do it easier because otherwise, like I had like this. I actually built this. This is Legos. I built this like when the
Really?
first iPad. This is a phone holder, or technically it was my iPad holder for when the original iPad came out. I built it out of Legos.
Huh.
I was bored. Yeah, and I had that on top of like a stack of like a box to like tilt the camera down
Yeah.
to do the other one. So, but then I found this on Amazon for like $15.
Crazy. Like, I don't know if you see this or not. Speaking of Legos too, like I think they're about to do like a game show of Lego
They
Monster
are.
Builders. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Will Arnett is the host, and
Yeah.
I, I've not watched any of the promos, and I kind of do, but I kind of don't because I kind of want to be thoroughly surprised. I would gather because this is what would make the most sense to me as a fan, would be that they give someone a prompt or a brief, and then they just do it.
Yeah.
Like this week's theme is going out of this world, something galactic. Build it.
Yeah.
Here's the parameters though. It must be at minifig scale, which if you don't know what minifig scale is actually 5 Lego studs tall, 5 things tall,
Okay. Hmm.
because that's how big the Lego doors are. And that's actually like if you do 5, it's that. So
Okay.
yeah, minifigures are 5 units tall. Although if you wanted to do it nicely and give them some headroom, you could do like 6 or 7 for their house. But yeah, like something like that would be super cool, and then they just go from there. Like I imagine it just like chopped, but like Legos,
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
like
super excited about that series to come out. I think it comes out. It says it's on Wednesdays, but I don't know when it starts being on Wednesdays.
okay. Like I wonder what
I'm just
happens if
gonna.
you're the loser. Like, does the winners get to like break your model then?
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, Karen, you lost.
Yeah. And
Mark
how many
won, so
hours?
he's
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the thing is like they just get like a hammer and just you just watch it in slow motion of just like the
The only downside to that arm is actually not the arm, it's the desk I have. The IKEA desk I have has a
Mhm.
bezel, like a negative bezel. So
Real.
like it's like here's the edge and then it goes like this.
Oh, lame.
So then it actually like latches like down here. So like if you keep tightening it, it just kind of like turns itself like this and
Mm.
pops off.
Yeah, the desk I had before, this Arazi one that I'm using, had the same kind of thing too, and it made this arm here a pain in the ass to kind of get stable. What it was kind of like when you're trying to like balance like a toy you had growing up that was a super pain in the ass because it had like really thin legs or something. But when you got it just right, you just kind of like that's it. That is like when I play with you,
Yeah.
that's all you're doing. We're gonna go up to you and talk to you, and then we're gonna fuck
You,
off.
you, you you never played miniatures games, did you?
No.
Yeah, some of those characters. Everybody wants to play elves because they're so cool and
Yeah.
stuff. You ever try to put some of these elves together? You're sitting there and like you're not really gluing the elf, you're just gluing everything in your fingers, and then like you're eventually just gonna like rip your skin off to make sure that their little like hand is on.
Like
No, it's a pain in the ass.
yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
but that's yeah. I'd love to try and do the stream thing
yeah.
with that. That'd be a cool way to test it out.
Is it only available on their website, or can you order on Amazon? Or
Right now, it's only available on their website because they're still growing. I don't know how they're if I remember from what they said at PAX, like they were like, yeah, we have like investors we're talking to and stuff like that. So I don't know where they're at with any of those specific things. Um, I would imagine since they'll probably do local game stores first.
mm,
So I know they're based down in like Harlingen, Texas, which I was
yeah,
like down in that area Friday. I was gonna try and go by, but I didn't get wasn't able to. Um, but they're based out of like South Texas, so they'll probably start trying to do local stores like actual comic shops and stuff, and then move around from there. But yeah,
okay,
I know they've stated like on their website and stuff like that, like plans they have to grow and things like that. And I mean, I feel like it's a good enough game to where it technically has like a very very high ceiling.
yeah,
It's way too early to be like, oh, it's a magic killer. Oh, this is gonna be better than Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon because those are like the big three. But
mm,
it is easy enough to play and enjoyable enough to play, and it has the right art style. And it like I feel like that art style is very in at the moment, the heavy black lined
yeah,
style. It's very much got that. Yeah, it looks like a. I mean, you see it. It looks like freaking like the new Ducktales kind of thing, where like it's got
mm,
that like heavy black line kind of comic stuff.
yeah. Woo!
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
So I think it could become decently large.
that's awesome. Good for
I,
them.
I I think it could be big enough to do its own like national event type things to where like it could be like the headliner thing. Like it could headline its own weekend. They could do like Levendale, grand tour and like host it out of like Houston or San Antonio. I would do it out of San Antonio because it'd be cheaper for travel and people to come and do it.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
nice, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's yeah. I think it's got a lot of potential. You know, and the people who make it, they're every person that I've had any contact with from the company, they're super cool.
yeah,
I was just enamored that the first person I talked to was actually like the creator's like mom.
yeah,
Like I was like, this is awesome, dude. Your mom's here at PAX with you. Like, how fun is that?
yeah. And they had
So
like a pseudo armor there too, right? When we were at
yeah,
PAX.
they did. They did. One of the first things the guy who made it, Parker, he's like, you want to try the glove on the gauntlet thing, and I tried it on. And I was like, oh, it was super fun. Like it's hard to move the hands or whatever. But they're fun. It's cool. I'm excited. Everything about the game like makes me excited. Like I don't really know the last time I was this excited about just some random game.
Yeah. Well, it's got like how I was today. Like so, for those of you who are new to the channel here, I said that I looked really weird doing that. I was like, I don't know why I did it like that. I was like, why are you here? Like,
Yeah.
did you click on the wrong thing? Sorry. Um, I did my first cooking stream today. Oh my god, my voice just cracked. What the fuck is going on right now? I'm just tired, maybe. I did a cooking stream today, which was like really, really fun and super, super low tech. Like all I did was I took my two webcams that I have here, got my uh,
Yeah.
set up, plugged into my laptop. I used instead of using the laptop camera, I used my primary one for that, and then I just kind of like opened up my one of my cabinets and then put the second camera right on top of that to aim down onto my stove, so that way you could see me like cooking stuff, and then just made a steak and rice bowl.
I
from Food
saw the part
Wars.
where you were cutting a shit ton of onions. I didn't
Yes.
have the volume on though. So I can ask the question. Did you do your best Julia Childs impersonation?
No, I came close to do my best Dan Aykroyd doing Julia Child impersonation. Almost cut my goddamn fingers off at a couple points, but ooh, really?
I yeah, I came about 2 millimeters short of taking probably a quarter of an inch of my ring finger,
Oh,
the tip of my ring finger off when I
yeah,
was cutting bell peppers for fajitas. Bell peppers are a bitch to cut if you try to cut the circle.
yeah, of geekdom. See what I did there? See what branding?
When your marketing budget's real low.
Yeah, you just try to fit into anywhere. Um, and yeah, it was really fun. Like I got the recipe from the buddy of mine Rapak, who is on my Final Fantasy streams pretty regularly, and he had sent me the picture because I've been watching this new anime, or it's new to me, called Food Wars. Which, have you
Mm,
ever heard of this or seen this? It's on Hulu. Yeah,
no, it's
yeah,
an anime.
yeah.
Does a cupcake come alive and start trying to eat people? Because that sounds like that'd be pretty cool.
No, it is. So it. I came into this like I've seen a lot of animes before where they take something like I would kind of consider to be kind of like mundane, and you have people who are so dedicated and so intense to that one thing. Like there's an entire anime about that game Go, the little white and
Yep,
black.
yep. My brother was slash is obsessed slash nationally ranked at one point. I think for that game.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
like I remember watching that at an anime convention, and I was like, "Why is there an anime just about like to me? Like I'm just being ignorant to like checkers." Yeah, it was to that.
That's all I know. I think I've seen that part of
Yeah,
that.
it's
It's like just slamming down like the black tile, and it's like,
how did you know to do that there? Like, and then the epic music starts to play. Like I remember watching the episode where like the hot shit player had to go up against three people at the same time, but his back was turned. So he had to memorize the boards for people replacing stuff. So they would tell him like, "Oh yeah, well I'm now like one piece down. Is I put my piece there." So he has to remember all three at the same time. It's like that is super intense. But this one is about cooking. It's just this natural prodigy who goes to this academy to learn from the best, so he can go back to his restaurant and become the world's greatest cook or whatever. But he is like works essentially at the equivalent of a diner where all of his other classmates are like at these 5-star Michelin star restaurants. So he's the underdog kind of kid, but he's naturally very good at it. But the crazy thing that I did not expect was how the anime shows people's reactions to the food. And I wish I was joking about this initially, but it took me it took me 2 episodes to finally kind of get used to it. But anytime anybody has like really delicious food, they have a genuinely explosive orgasm every time. Yeah, and like they do like the whole like Dragon Ball Z style where like all like these like dashing lines and stuff to it, or they'll have like the main ingredient that surprised everyone was like honey. Then you see like this chick just like is completely covered in honey, and while she's just kind of like just gyrating and just freaking out over it. And yeah, let that sink in. It's like the first time I watched this, like what is? I did not expect this at all.
I feel like every single anime, if you watch it, it's like way better if you're high or drunk. Like
Yeah,
that's the way. Like when people describe them, like anytime Chuck ever described JoJo,
yeah.
I was like, I feel like the only way to watch that show would just be like stoned out of your mind. Just be like,
JoJo is a very weird one. I'm still working through that one. I'm at a point in the series where it's just dragging like hell. You can kind of tell like it's just filler episodes, and I just kind of wish they would just kind of wrap this shit up.
mm,
But yeah, but like they had an episode of Food Wars where they were making steak bowls, and in between the orgasms, they are actually showing you how to cook it. And I was like, that looks really good, and that became the inspiration for wanting to do this cooking stream. And then Rapak actually had the recipe available on the cookbook, so he sent me the page, so I worked off that. But yeah, like the recipe involves like you just take a piece of flank steak, and that's why you
that's
dissect the
good steak.
onions. Yeah, and you just pile the onions on top of the steak, and the acid from the onions will tenderize a cheaper cut of meat like that.
Yeah, that's an anime, all right.
Yeah. But of course, the anime is like, like you're doing like this, like whatever style for doing it too, and then like made everything like 800,000 times more intense than it need to be, obviously. But it's great. Like I'm actually super addicted to that anime now. Like it just makes me want to cook more
Uh,
and more stuff.
I'm gonna start watching it now,
Yeah,
just because it's food related. I love how Hulu like lies to you and makes you feel better about things
yeah,
for animes because it's like you look and it's like one season you're like damn that sucks 48 episodes whoa what
yeah,
and then you look and it's like episode one dub episode one sub
yeah.
so it's like oh do I want to be the white guy or do I want to be like
The
the
otaku.
white guy who wants to the otaku it's like regular white guy or otaku
Yeah. Like,
yeah
but I'll be watching that while like eating like fucking Taco Bell. I'm going like that looks really good. Like this 49-cent taco though costs 49 cents, so therefore this is somehow better. Like,
I love Taco Bell
like
man.
so, like I would
I when I went to
gladly eat
Edinburgh, I ate Taco Bell. I ate so bad that day. These were my meals the entirety of my day. I spent a total of 7.5 hours in the car that day too.
that. Oof.
Those of you who listen to the podcast who live outside of Texas, this will be a fun shock to you. You can spend an entire day driving your ass off and actually only go halfway one direction in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
drove from the middle of Texas for 3.5 hours because there wasn't any traffic in the morning down to Texas's ankles
That's
down there
a
in
good way to put it.
Edinburgh for work stuff. And then I drove all the way back up. So I woke up at like 5 a.m. to drive for 3.5 hours, 9 to 3 something ish there, drove all the way back up. But my shitty food that day was Egg McMuffin meal and McDonald's iced coffee because there's no fucking way I'm buying a hot coffee at a McDonald's. I respect myself too much to buy hot coffee there. I'll buy an
Really?
iced latte. I'll buy an iced latte from just about anywhere, but I'm not getting hot coffee from a McDonald's. I've never had hot coffee from On the Grind either. I will not get hot coffee from like 90% of places that sell coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
That
kind of
might
particular
that
on that
might be
too.
this. That's probably the snobbiest thing about me is I will not drink shitty hot coffee.
Yeah. Like the only
I
place
enjoy Starbucks
yeah, I'll do
hot coffee,
Starbucks.
and then
Bucky's
I have
makes
the
good
one
coffee.
that I make, but I don't. Nowhere else do I really buy hot. Like it has to be like a place I really feel strongly about. Like if and even then I'll probably get their iced coffee first, and if that's really good, then the next time I come back I'll get a hot one.
Like, have you tried Bucky's like for their stuff?
No,
It's
I don't
good.
really. I don't go inside. You know what? I guess it's because I live in a town that has a Bucky's. I never go to Bucky's.
It's so good.
Like
Like
I'll stop there for gas sometimes, but that's about it.
it's like it's worth a go inside. Like I every time I stop by Bucky's, always end up getting like hard boiled eggs for just some
Mm,
reason for protein, I guess. But their jerky is like really good, and their sandwiches
that's
are out of this world.
the jerky is amazing,
Yeah.
and when the one here didn't exist, yeah. Anytime we drove to Houston, anytime I had to go anywhere, like if I was gonna pass close to that Bucky's, I would stop and I would go get beef jerky. Their peppered beef jerky is
Yeah.
so good. But yeah,
I get their turkey jerky all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's like the only place I've ever had turkey jerky that's not absolute terrible.
Exactly. Yeah. Like fuck you, Jax.
Yeah. Um, there was something we were talking about before Bucky's. Oh yeah, so I had McDonald's.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody, my brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to. I guess I ate McDonald's, and then I ate Taco Bell, and then I got Denny's because I was driving home and I was texting my wife, and I'm like, I don't know what to eat for dinner. And she's like, well, what do you want to eat? What food do you want to eat? I was like, honestly, the only thing I want to eat is a waffle. And she's like, don't go to IHOP. And I was before she sent me that text, I was thinking, I was like, I should go to IHOP because to me, IHOP is the most depressing place in the world.
Is it real?
Yeah,
Worse than Waffle House?
yes, yes. I have very fond memories as a kid from Waffle Houses. IHOP is just depressing.
Yeah.
Like you go into an IHOP and like, even though they're not allowed to smoke, it feels like everyone's been smoking. Like they just like put it out as soon as you walked in. They're like, oh fuck this narc. They'll put it out like on top of like their like pancake. They're like, no, it's pepper. What are you talking about?
A peppered waffle? Like, yeah, fuck you, just try it.
And so she's like, "Don't go to IHOP." But I was thinking about it, and I was going to send her like a really sad picture, just like me in a booth by myself at IHOP.
Yeah.
You know, like that one meme where the dude's just standing there. I was like, I'm gonna get the waiter to take like pictures of me from like different parts of the restaurant, and just me just sitting in the booth, like. So then I was like, no, I'm gonna go. I was like, no, I'm gonna go to Denny's.
Yeah.
And she didn't think I was gonna go to Denny's. And then when I got home, she's like, "What'd you end up eating?" I was like, "Denny's." And she's
Yeah.
like, "You went to Denny's?" I said, "Yeah, I went to Denny's. I told you I wanted a waffle." So I went to Denny's and I got a waffle. I got a Belgian slam,
Nice.
which is frustrating because it's literally Belgian slam, like not like Belgium
Yeah.
slam. I don't. For some reason that
Belgian
bothers
slam.
me. But
It
it's a
kind of rolls
waffle.
like yeah.
Yeah, so it was a waffle, 2 eggs, which I always do fried eggs because I love egg yolk all over everything, and then bacon and sausage. I realized that technically, if you eat a waffle and eggs, you are eating chicken and waffles.
Oh.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I was like, is there a better name for it? Like, what's a baby? Like, is it like chicken waffles? Is that like what you call it if you're eating like the eggs? I was just like, children and waffles sounds bad.
It does. Yeah.
you know, but
Well,
yeah.
a friend of mine on Facebook is dude's a total foodie, and apparently he's traveling for work, and he tried. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick, real fast here. Apparently, I don't. You can't have it here in the States because it's like
Horse? Is it horse?
no, it's not that. There he is. Let me find it here real quick. It should be like right at the top of his list here of shit that he's tried. Um, Ballot. I don't know if you ever heard what that is.
For me, for some reason, my brain instantaneously goes to like endangered seafood.
It's a partially, I guess I can't really think of the right word, the term for it, but I will tell you this before I Google it. Like it's a hard thing to initially Google because it looks super hard to watch. It is a still developing bird embryo that's boiled and eaten from the shell, so it looks like you're eating like a baby chick. And you can't have it
That's
here in
like
the
the thing.
States. Yeah, it's a hard thing to watch apparently, but apparently, I'm saying apparently a lot. He loved it. He said it was really, really good. Like the texture was amazing. That the flavors are just out of this world. But
Is the baby bird an ortolan? From they have like I think they make a reference for that in American Dad. They're like an ortolan. You have to eat it under a towel to hide your sin from God, and
kind of,
it's like a baby bird like drowned inside like it's like it's like it's a baby bird drowned in creme de menthe or something like that, brought back to life from bird CPR, and then drowned again, and then like fried.
ooh,
It's something ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, but yeah, like that's what I thought of when you were saying that. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
That one's good. That to me would be kind of a hard one to kind of wrap my brain around. Like again, it's just I think it's purely like a cultural thing. Like we eat all sorts of weird, disgusting things that I think probably other cultures would just think is just absolutely the worst. And I still stand by like there's even things like your family made a dish that for you was completely normal, and then you tell it to your friends, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I have had Rocky Mountain oysters.
How is it?
Tastes fine.
Yeah, it's just what is.
It's only problematic if someone tells you what it is before you eat it.
Yeah,
So those of you who don't know, Rocky Mountain oysters are bull testicles,
yeah, yeah,
not raw. So I'm not wasn't just like, hey,
yeah.
Bevo, what you doing? But yeah, they're like fried or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They look like a hush puppy.
That's what like I've seen. Like I've never seen them served any other way other than just deep fried.
I don't think texture wise and consistency it would be edible
No.
outside of deep frying it. I feel like the texture of it would be almost impossible to deal with on your mouth if it wasn't deep fried. But yeah, that like I've told people some of the stuff I've had being from especially East Texas because you get that Cajun shit in there too. Like I've had like various parts of alligator.
I like alligator. I think
I
it's
think
really tasty.
I think I've eaten some sort of snake. Most mammals,
Yeah.
that exist in the U.S. other than like pet animals I've had. Well, some pet animals I've eaten a rabbit before, squirrels,
I like rabbit too. I do.
rabbits, very good.
Rabbit's a really good meat.
We one of my uncles, I have this lasting memory from when I was a kid, is he shot this swamp rabbit. And if you're not familiar with like swamp rabbits in like East Texas and like Louisiana, like you see those cute little cottontails that run around, they're like in your yard or whatever and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, it's a bunny. These things are like fucking huge, monstrous, like rabbits. Like I swear to God, when it stands up, like he was holding it from like its ears, and it was a carcass, and it was like 3 feet tall. Like I'm like, that's a big fucking bunny.
Yeah.
So yeah, we skinned that and ate that. It's
Nice.
pretty good. The problem is most things when you cook them, it's more about seasoning and preparation than anything else. So like people are like, you can never eat a horse in like the US. Like that sign, it's like, where do you draw the line? And it's like, or how could you eat this thing? It's like a picture of a deer. It's like, are you asking how I could do it like ethically, or do you want like cooking
You want
preparation
the
type?
recipe? Yeah.
Like I feel bad they have that one, and it's like, where do you draw the line? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I would not eat a dog or a cat, but almost everything else on there, I'm like, I
It's
could eat a
very.
horse.
Yeah.
I I've honestly, because some of the cooking shows I've seen, like Italy, horses bigger food wise in Italy, and I'm like, I would eat a horse,
Yeah.
no problem.
It's
Like,
meat. It's legit meat.
I mean,
Like
technically, a pound of ground crickets is better for you than a pound of ground beef. So
that. Yeah. That's come up a few times for me. Like just
I
like
I have
YouTube videos or like the
oh,
world
sorry.
according to Jeff Goldblum and stuff like that, where it's just yeah, that's totally sustainable food.
I had a Beyond Meat taco.
And
Taco Cabana has Beyond Meat tacos.
wow.
Honestly, it looks close enough. It looks like the consistency of it was basically like eating like borracho beans.
Huh.
It was fine. I liked it. I didn't throw up. I didn't get
Yeah.
diarrhea afterwards.
Progress. Yeah.
It's
There you
fine.
go. Yeah.
Um, I literally bought that and a ground beef and ate them one after the other. And uh,
Yeah.
I mean, in a regular eating circumstance where I'm just eating it anyway, I probably wouldn't have noticed much of the difference at all because I would have put more salsa on it. Because I'm the person who goes and I'm like, you get those little tiny cups at Taco Cabana, and it's like
Mhm.
you put the salsa in. I'm like that. That's one taco worth of salsa. Like all of my
I
salsa,
do that
all of
too.
my taco, they get their own individual cup of salsa for themselves. So I'd have been like, me when I go to Taco Cabana, I do and I get 3 tacos. Like I get 3 salsas. I'm like,
Yep.
one of you gets the red sauce, one of you gets the
Mhm.
brown sauce, one of you gets the tomatillo sauce. To do to do to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my sampler pack. It's Neapolitan. You know
Of salsa.
exactly. It's like that's how we do this in Texas.
Neo salsatin.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why Tex-Mex is the greatest individual food genre on the planet because it's the only one where you can get all this shit all put
Yep.
together.
And it's
Like, oh
delicious.
yeah, I still think brisket tacos are probably one of the greatest
God, yeah.
things from Tex-Mex, and Torchy's makes a really good one. I like
Torchy's makes
theirs.
fantastic stuff too. Yeah. Thank God there's one here in Fort Worth. I need to go to it at some point, but
I'm stuck in the middle between San Antonio and San Marcos, and I don't know that we'll get one anytime soon.
yeah.
I just wish they would build like more. The Forum needs a Torchy's, I think, just because
I
that's
I'm really
the
surprised
closest thing to me.
the forum really should have more stuff there too. It's a shopping center and shirts.
Yes, we
But
are now talking about incredibly local things, so I'm
yeah,
sorry for those of you who are not localized to Texas.
yeah, yeah. Sorry guys, sorry about that. But actually, no, we've actually surpassed the 1 hour mark. Holy crap! On that note,
Woo.
woot! Look at that go. We had no plans on what we were going to talk about. Look at all the. At some point,
I
we should
had a
probably talk
plan,
about a
but we
video
didn't
game.
get to it. Yes. Okay. Fine. We can talk about a video game now. Apex Legends.
Yes.
So I know you've fallen off the bandwagon on that. Dave got a new PC, so I'm going to try and drag his ass back to it.
Yeah.
So season 3 wraps up Monday night, and then season 4 starts. Which anyone who follows the game, they will have noticed that from the progression from when the game launched to where it is now, regardless of gameplay, because people bitch about anything, they've made the depth of the game crazy. Like every time they release a new legend and they have some of their story stuff, like it gets better and better. Like Octane came out and it was like, here's this Spanish sounding dude who jumps on things and is basically like a heroin addict,
Yeah.
whatever. And then they brought out Watson, the French girl, and they give a little bit of backstory stuff for her that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then they brought out Crypto, and he had this like legit backstory thing with like his sister was like abducted, and like he came from this like basically computer geek thing to this like going hacking to get himself into the games to like fight the company from the inside. But then the season 4 trailer is multiple parts, and it's like redonkulous. Like they technically, if you look at it, they introduced like 3 possible legends. And one of them is one of the ones that was from the Halloween event of Revenant, which is basically this like you have Pathfinder who's like a robot and like super cute and like funny, and then you have Revenant who's like a robot and it is like bad. Like
Wow.
yeah. But his introduction trailer is like being like a legend. Like they're doing like an interview thing with this other guy, Forge, who's going into the games for Hammond Robotics, who's this like company or Hammond Industries or whatever. And he murders the dude like in the actual events in the interview, and then they released it later on, and they're like, here's another old surveillance footage video that relates to a 25-year-old cold case, and it's like him as Revenant, and it shows him as like a human, and then when he like busts into this thing and like tries to like assassinate this like CEO of a company or whatever, it's him as the robot, and he's like tearing through people and like he turns his hand into like a knife and just like shoves it straight through a guy. And
Wow.
like there's like
That's intense.
the CEO, they're at this like high level restaurant CEO, his wife and his daughter, and that's the key thing, his daughter's there, and he gives her like this like trinket, and there's like a little like wolf statuette in there, and he kills all of them except the daughter, and like the daughter like at the end is like clutching this little thing, and like her dad's like dead or whatever. So she is actually probably going to be another legend that's like was like from the names of legends was data mined out that her name's Loba,
Yeah.
which is wolf in Portuguese. And then so they may have, so definitely Revenant will be one, and then Forge may or may not, and then Loba may or may not in the future. But the best part of that trailer is like the end part of it where like Revenant as a robot is like walking, and he has like some piece of glass stuck in his neck, and he walks by and he sees like a mirror, and he sees himself still as like the human person,
Yeah.
and then he pulls it out, and then it shows like these flashbacks of him like prepping to get ready to go assassinate this dude, and he's shaving himself with a straight razor, and it shows him looking at himself in the mirror, and in the mirror is the human face, but the actual footage is him as a robot. And even though it's animated, it is the creepiest thing to see a
Wow.
robot just shaving its face with a straight razor. And like you can see like the razor like nick marks on the metal, and I'm just watching it, I'm like, oh, that's so
Damn.
bad. So
I might
that's
have
the
to
best
watch
thing.
that then.
It's super cool. And then gameplay wise, for the first half of season 4, like up until like March, it's still in the current map, which is World's End, but then it switches to go back to Kings Canyon. So people who bitched and bitched and bitched can finally get Kings Canyon back and shut the fuck up for like 30 seconds until they start bitching and moaning that, oh, Kings Canyon's too small now. Because any event they've played in Kings Canyon while we've had the other map has been stupid. Because you get in there and you're like, fuck, this tiny.
Yeah.
Like you get in there and you're like, the game lasted like 5 minutes. Like I won a game for one of the events that happened in Kings Canyon, and I was like, we just dropped out the ship like 5 minutes ago. What the hell just happened? Like, but I don't know if this was announced, and maybe I just missed it because I haven't paid as much attention. But in the game, they actually have a little option now where you can make your own little tournament match. So
Yeah.
you can physically input up to 64 people, so yourself included, and 60 players, 5 spectators. And you have a code, and you can just send that out to people, and they can come and you can basically make your own game. You can't mess with any settings, so it's not like you can go in there and be like, nobody gets shields, or you're gonna set up the special events like the
All
duos,
Mozambiques.
or yeah, all Mozambiques. I still think that for a special event they need to do this. They need to do pistols at dawn, and like the only weapons are the 3 pistols that exist, the 2 light ammo, so the P2020, the RE45, and the Wingman, but then the Mozambique because it's a shotgun pistol. So those 4 weapons, and that's it. And do it like they do with the Armed and Dangerous, where there's only like white body shields.
Oh.
I would play that. I would play that all day. That would be so much fun. Um, but you can actually do that now. So you can have like, technically, if you do it where every one of your all of your friends, if everyone's in their own individual lobby, you can do like your own everybody versus everybody thing. Or you can do it as like your 3 teams and do that. It's the same map, so you're all playing on World's Edge. So I mean, it's a big map, But you could feasibly do that and goof off and have some fun with your friends, or what it's really used for is a lot of the tournament people. So I think Apex is trying to figure out how they can take the fact that because I think now like they officially have like almost like 50 million people like
Or accounts.
users of the game. How many people are actually playing it on a regular basis? I don't know, because I know at least. I mean, there's you guys and then Striker who have all quit playing it since it came out.
Yeah.
Whereas I've been playing it semi-religiously, it feels like, since its inception. But that's really cool. I think that's great, because as soon as they can get this game to where they can actually really market it for competitive thing, it's going to take off more, because I don't think a lot of the really competitive like solo gamers,
Mm-hmm.
because you have the team people who they're the ones who are on like Overwatch League and shit like that, but you have the non-competitive people who are stuck with like player unknown or battlegrounds, or they're playing like Fortnite. And I spent 8 hours one day just playing Fortnite just to really give it a go, and I hated it.
Really?
I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. If you didn't pick up something that had a scope, you couldn't see shit.
Mm.
Whereas in Apex, I can pick up the longbow without a scope, and it's fine because the iron sights for me work. I'm just like, pow, pow. I've gotten a lot better at the game now. I'm not shitty at it. I would say I'm decent.
You're decent.
I'm decent.
You're
I'm
decent. That's
decent. Yeah. One of the guys I follow on Twitch, he is the best controller player on PC, and I'm decent. But that's the main stuff with the game. I've been having a blast playing it. I'm excited. I'll keep playing it as long as I feel like playing it. So,
Right on.
in terms of actual video game content for our Geek podcast, that's what I got.
I
Is
think that
Apex
works.
Legends and the new season. Oh no, I'm sorry. Season 3 goes to February 3rd. February 4th is when the new one starts. So
Tuesday.
through next week. No, wait, it is next week.
Yeah, today's the 1st.
I don't know what day of the week it is. That's bad.
Yeah, it's
Well,
Saturday the 1st. Yeah.
January's 87 days long, so
Yeah.
it is. Sometimes it'd be like that.
Indeed. I can't believe it started February, and which also, of course, means 4 more weeks till PAX East.
There's so many good things that happen in February. That's where I think spring training starts to start for baseball. Formula One does winter testing. PAX East happens.
Yep.
I don't know what else happens in February. Valentine's Day is bullshit. So I don't care about that.
And then
tip for all you guys out there, and girls, if you're listening as well, find someone else who hates Valentine's Day and then marry that person. I love that my wife doesn't care about Valentine's Day, because it makes me not have to celebrate some bullshit thing for random. It means that on a random Tuesday I can just send her a cute card and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Aww. It's much more appreciated than I got you a bear and some chocolate on Valentine's Day. So yeah. Okay, we've officially checked off that we talked about video games.
We did it. All right. So, social media links for us are down below. We'll be back again next week with another Circle of Geeks and Vidcast. With that,
same action channel.
Yep. This guy's Sean.
That guy's Chris.
Look at that. Is that our new exit?
Oh, that should be our new exit.
That is it. Oh my god. All right. Links are down below, guys. We'll catch you guys next time.
We gotta do like the thing where we like lean up against each other.
Oh, can we? Oh, we can. Let's do this.
Kind of, sort of. We do like the high five.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good stuff.
Live video, man. That's how you do it.